What's up, everybody? Welcome to the General Sports Channel. I'm Bobby, if you didn't already know that. And before we get started with today's video, I just wanted to quickly thank all of y'all who watched the first video on why I thought the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. It got a lot of support, and I really do appreciate it. I'm still shocked by how many views it's already gotten, the likes, and how many people have decided to subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it, and if this is your first video that you're watching, please subscribe and like the video down below if you enjoy what you've seen so far. This channel is mainly going to be about NFL content, with occasionally throwing some basketball content. I got the jersey on for a reason. But I think it's going to be good. It's only going to get better from here. I'm feeling a lot better about this video. I got bullet points today, so I'm not trying to be fancy or anything, but it's going to be a good one. Either way, I also just quickly want to shout out again Jacob, or aka Rusty Buckets. If you didn't come from his channel somehow and you're watching this just on a whim, he's a really good guy. He's my best friend. I've known him for years. He makes great NBA content. I'm going to have his link in the description down below if you want to go check him out. Because he uploads about every day, and his stuff is mainly and only about basketball. But, in case you want to see both sides of the spectrum, please go check his channel out. But outside of that, we're going to go ahead and get right on into the video. So I'll see y'all in a sec.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this video saying that I understand this trade is a little old now. It's been about almost 2 weeks, okay? Most people aren't even talking about the Matthew Stafford trade anymore. But this is something I really wanted to actually make a video on. And it's focused specifically on why the Rams won this trade. From when the trade was announced a couple weeks ago, from comments on the NFL's page, whether it's on Instagram or on YouTube, the comments, a lot of people from what I saw felt as if the Lions were the one who won this trade, and I can understand why a lot of people would think that. I mean, if some of you, if you haven't, don't know a lot about the NFL and you're watching this video, if you look at this trade, the Lions received 2 first-round draft picks in 2022 and 2023, a third-round pick in this upcoming year's draft, and Jared Goff, who's a solid average, I would say average, starting quarterback. That's a lot. And in fairness, I think for the Lions, it's exactly what they needed. But the thing is that the reason most people felt that the Lions won this trade speaks to how underrated Matthew Stafford is as a quarterback in the NFL. This man, his whole 12-year career, has not been looked at properly, I think, by the NFL fan base, because this man can play football. He's got a cannon for an arm, the leadership skills just as good as any other franchise quarterback in this league, and he's got more heart than I've ever seen from most quarterbacks and most players in the NFL. Okay, I speak very highly of him. I think he's a great quarterback. I think, and it doesn't surprise me because a lot of teams probably felt the same way. There was multiple teams that wanted to get a hold of Matthew Stafford because they know what he's about and they know what he can bring to the table. Looking at it for the two teams, for the Rams it works because they're a win now team. They're very similar. Also, Chicago I think is the same way. They're a team that just needs those couple of pieces to compete. And the biggest problem that the Rams have been having is really offensively, winning and making an impact, because their defense has been playing lights out, but they don't have that same, help from the offense to help put points on the board when the defense can take advantage in those games. And getting a guy like Matthew Stafford, I think, is going to put him in better chances to win. He's older. He's more experienced. I think statistically he's a better quarterback. I think he has a stronger arm than Jared Goff does. And I think he's going to be a better leader for the team. I think he's going to really help motivate not only this offense, but the whole franchise to help, win, games and maybe even win the Super Bowl. We'll see. Time will tell about that one. And for the Lions, it works for them because they're getting a younger guy who fits much better, with their what looks to be rebuilding team. Obviously, is pretty much a rebuilding team right now. And these picks, the thing is with these first round picks is with the NFL, Obviously, the worse record you have, the higher pick you're going to have. They don't do a lottery like the NBA does. But because of how the Rams, I think, are going to be in 22 and 23, barring injury, those are going to most likely be later round first-round picks. Okay, so I don't think they're as valuable as a top 10 pick would be. But they're still good first-round picks. It wouldn't surprise me if Detroit actually tries to move those picks for either another, like maybe a top 10 pick, or for another player to add on to their team, another young star, to kind of help them in the future and help their rebuilding plans. But I think both teams, it fits really well. But that's kind of why, it's my thinking for both teams on why they made those moves at quarterback. But we're gonna go a little bit more back into Stafford. Okay, now I'm gonna give some history about Matthew Stafford, specifically with his stats, and for me, his most iconic game. Talking about his stats, I think what we don't talk about is he's only been to one Pro Bowl. And when you say that, you think, okay, so he probably is just an average quarterback. He only has one Pro Bowl. He doesn't really have that much else of great stats, or great awards, be specific, awards, from what you would think. This man has got snubbed, I think, more than most quarterbacks playing in this league right now from Pro Bowls. We'll talk about his best year in the league. We'll talk about his career high league in the league. In 2011, which I'll probably say was his best statistical season, he had over 5,000 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 picks, with a 63.5% completion percentage. That's pretty good. That in itself is what most would consider a Pro Bowl level season. Okay, I think that's easily enough to get someone into a Pro Bowl. He didn't make Pro Bowl that year. Now, the one that he made was in 2014, and he had way worse stats. He had like 20 less touchdowns in 2014, but still made it. He didn't make it that year. He got picked over, I believe it was, Eli Manning and Cam Newton. Now, Cam, in fairness, that was his rookie year. He broke the rookie record for passing yards. He had 21 touchdowns with, I think, almost 10 rushing touchdowns and like 600 rushing yards. So he overall had 4,600 yards and almost 31 TDs with, I believe it was 17 picks, which is a good season. I can understand Pro Bowl season. They only went 6-10, but as a rookie back then, that was fantastic. So I can understand that. The other person was Eli Manning. Now, I think back then it was a popularity contest. I think that's why he got in, because even though he had a good season, Matthew Stafford beat him in literally every passing category. Had more yards, more touchdowns, the same amount of interceptions, and a higher completion percentage, along with the Lions having a 10-6 record versus Eli Manning's Giants only having a 9-7 record. So if you're gonna actually compare their stats to see which one got in, you would think it'd be Matthew Stafford, but I think because at the time, Eli Manning was, unlike now, a lot more popular of a quarterback, and I think he kind of slid in under the table because of it. So it ended up working out for him in the long run, or not really in the long run, but it worked out for him, whereas for Matthew Stafford, it's made him very slept on by the NFL fans of the world, who don't appreciate how talented of a quarterback this guy really is. Going through that, we're also going to talk about I want to mention one specific game. I wasn't really going to go into like a huge detail or background about like his life history, but one game that stood out for me, which is why I wanted to make this video, why I wanted to talk about Matthew Stafford, was in 2009 against the Cleveland Browns. Now, if you're a Lions fan, you know what I'm talking about, because you most likely have been mentioning this game probably every single year since 2009, because unfortunately, the franchise hasn't amounted for much else other than that game. But it was a good game for Matthew Stafford. It was his rookie year, okay? They finished the first quarter of that game down 24-3, okay? So they were getting their asses whooped. To talk about how well he did, at the end of the game, he had 422 yards and 5 TDs, just to show. But that's not even what's most impressive for me. Not the 5 TDs, the 422 yards, which obviously is great. I mean, for a rookie, that's freaking tastic. You don't see rookies really doing that ever. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about the last play of the game. Now, on the last play of the game, it was about like 3 seconds left on the clock or whatever. And Matthew Stafford got sacked. I think he either threw it away or he got sacked. And the clock ran out and the game was over. But the game wasn't over because there was a penalty on the field. And that penalty gave the Lions one more play to win it. Okay, but Matthew Stafford was hurt. He was hurt bad. He was holding his left arm like out like this. And we find out later he actually separated his shoulder from his left arm, or from his body, or separated his shoulder basically. And it was obviously, for those who've separated their shoulder, it's painful feeling, and it's especially painful if your job is to, throw a football for a living. That's probably not the best feeling in the world, I'm to be honest with y'all. And you would think he'd be done. I mean, I remember seeing it. Most people thought, okay, he's not coming out on the field. Backup's going to have to make the play to win them this game. And that's what it seemed like. Backup came onto the field, looked like that's the play they were going to run, and then no. Out of the shadows, running out here looking like Brett Favre, Matthew Stafford comes back into the game to win it. He comes out onto the field, he calls the play, and he throws the game-winning touchdown to help win that game against Cleveland. And I tell you what, if I could, describe him in one game, that's the game I would describe him. The amount of heart and effort that he puts in to this game and for his team is unmatched by most quarterbacks I've seen in this league. Okay, and I undoubtedly believe he's going to bring that same attitude and mindset to the Los Angeles Rams. And I think because of that, they're going to have a really, really good chance at winning a Super Bowl, at least in the next couple of years. I really do feel like that, okay? And then for Jared Goff, I really hope, I think this new environment for him is going to help him. I think maybe being with that new team, being in Detroit, might motivate him to play better. Maybe he'll turn into what most believe him as an average quarterback into a legitimate franchise quarterback that I think he has the potential to be. And I think both sides, are ultimately winners technically in this, but I feel like in the long run, Super Bowl wise, I definitely am going to have to give it to the Rams, who I thought won this trade. I think they're going to be a team to fear in the NFC for the next couple years, and they already kind of were, but they definitely are now. The Bucks, Tom Brady, they better enjoy their celebration while they last, because Stafford's coming, and he's coming with a reckoning. Okay, without a doubt. Okay, even Aaron Rodgers, it don't matter. He's coming for you. Matthew Stafford's gonna find a way. But that's all I got to say about that. So, to sum up the video, I appreciate y'all for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and down below. Leave a comment too if you got any other ideas, something you want me to talk about. Also, tell me what you think of the video. I kind of, trying to do different things each time. So please, if you have any advice or there's something specifically you want to mention, go ahead and mention it. And if you enjoy this content like this, you're going to hopefully see more of it. I'm going to make an intro video, soon, talking more about the schedule and stuff like that. I figured I'd just make this video back to back. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else. So thank y'all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.